What is up? Welcome to BYU Banter, the last bastion of reason in an otherwise turbulent atmosphere. I am Matt Egan, and I am joined by the best and brightest BYU has to offer. They are Jordan Feinauer, Chris Jones, and Spencer Linton. On today's program, we've got a lot of topics out of the Reader's Forum of the Daily Universe to hit on. So let's get right to it by discussing the latest on voting issues. Guys, let's break it down.
Well, Matt, I'm glad you brought that up because Jeremy Borgia from Morgan Hill, California, had something kind of interesting to say. Please, if you're not going to study the issues, do us all a favor and stay away from the polls. Be smart, study the issues, but don't blindly follow a political party. Spencer, what do you think about this?
Well, first of all, how many BYU students actually come from Utah? Okay? Not too many, all right? And I am from Utah. I vote. I do take a look into politics. But all those kids, they got so many tests and so many things to worry about that he shouldn't have to worry about them voting uninformed because they're not going to have to vote at all. So, do whatever you have to do.
Here's the thing, Spencer. I think you bring up a good point. We're busy. We have schoolwork to do, studying, dating, all of these things. But what it comes down to is our parents' generation had the same problems, and they really revolutionized the world. I mean, the hippie generation changed America. And we can do the same thing, and it's just as important now. We have a war in Iraq, a war on terror, economy. We have all of these things to worry about, and frankly, it's our future. And so if we don't invest now by studying and trying to make informed decisions, who knows what's going to happen? It's going to be an uncertain future.
Well, the problem is we live in the Xbox generation, Chris, and that's the big problem. People are more concerned about playing NCAA 2007 on their Xbox 360 than worrying about who's the Democrat and who's the Republican for what party. And so that's a problem we face even today.
Hopefully they'll see that they need to really invest in the issues. But, guys, what do you think? Do you vote? Do you study the issues?
Definitely I think it's important to vote. I think it's important to study out the issues. It's what this nation was built on. And there's another very important issue that we have to discuss right now, and that is whether or not to stand when the national anthem is being played as the flag is being lowered at the end of the day. Every day at 5 o'clock, the flag goes down and the national anthem plays. Some people say that they should stop and respect that. Other people say, well, I'm not from America. You shouldn't really tell me that I need to stop when it's up to me. Jordan, what do you think?
Well, I think the big issue here is that not everyone at BYU is from the United States of America. The creed of BYU is the world is our campus, which means people from all over the world are here. If I were from another country and I were here and the national anthem were played, I don't know that I would want to stop and respect that flag. I'd be respectful for other people, meaning I'd walk quietly so that they can enjoy the national anthem, but I would in no way pay homage or respect to a flag that is not mine.
I think that's a good point. Even more importantly, you can't really tell somebody stop for the flag when they may not be from this country. We need to be sensitive to the fact that let them stand if they want to, walk if you want to walk, but don't be respectful by bringing other people down and trying to tell them what to do, I think. What would you guys do?
Frankly, I got a lot going on at the end of the day, and the thing I don't like is when I'm walking and I'm in a hurry when the flag is being lowered, and people look at me like I'm a bad person. Oh, yeah. I love America. I have a moment in my heart where I contemplate the great things our forefathers have done. But let's all just lighten up a little bit, I think.
Where's the flag? Where's the flag during all of this?
It's by the ASB, apparently.
we're on the other side of campus most of the time, so I don't know. I'd have to agree with Chris. Let's talk a little football. Let's change venues a bit.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Back to the issue of stadium etiquette. Our friend Nathan Curtis right here from Provo says, apparently every number on the bench that you're supposed to be sitting in means that you're supposed to be there.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, and two, those little letters and numbers on your ticket, they mean something. Please sit there. The rotating tickets will cause you to be closer to action some games than others. Live with it. Speaking of the rotating student tickets that are going on, and Chris, as much as I agree with this and as great as I think this is, the fact of the matter is people are there for the social events, the social scene a lot of the time, especially students.
It's true.
And on the benches, they move and go around where they want to be. It's boyfriends, girlfriends, wives, husbands. It just doesn't matter, and I don't think it's going to be solved anytime soon.
I'm going to have to agree with Nathan on these two, but I'm going to bring up one more point that he brings up. Standing on the benches in front of someone is not acceptable. Benches were made to be stood on. You can't rattle another team's offense when you're banging on the concrete. It just doesn't work. You stand up on the metal benches, you bang your feet as loud as you can, and you rattle them till they can't be rattled anymore.
Okay, a point well taken, and I agree with that. Nathan, we like what you said about the tickets and about the letters. If you are listening, please sit where you're supposed to be because it does cause a lot of problems. But cut us some slack. Let us get up and be rowdy and get on.
And Nathan, I'm going to invite you to stand on the bench with me. You can sit right next to me. I'll save you a ticket.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, I think it's very important that we say that we are in our seats simply to be curious to everybody else. Like you said, not everybody's there for the football game, but those of us who are there for the football game shouldn't be distracted by the people who are there simply to, show off the latest fashions or they brought a backpack or the Manila Blahnik Hills. Now, sticking with football, there's another issue going on at the football games, and that is cheerleading. We have two different viewpoints that came into the Daily Universe just recently. One says, I just wanted to mention that there was a time in history when cheerleaders were capable of leading cheers and performing tricks without wearing revealing outfits. Okay, that's one side. Second side is, I want the biddies in training to stop criticizing our cheerleaders' uniforms. It offends me. If anything, I find they are too modest and not showing our school spirit when they wear them. So we have a cheerleading issue going on that's been here for, probably since cheerleaders began being a football game. Matt, where do you stand on the cheerleader outfit issue?
Jordan, I love this dialogue that's been going back and forth with people in the Readers Forum. A lot of people have views. I don't know if all of them are educated views, but everybody has their own view on what the cheerleaders should do. My personal feeling is it's cheerleading and they wear their outfits that allow them to be able to perform at a reasonably competitive state. What we need to do is kind of get off their backs, let them wear what they're going to wear, knowing that they wear what they wear, and guess who are their bosses ultimately? It's the administrators of BYU, and they've approved that. They say, okay, they can wear that. That is within realm. So let's not just jump on the bandwagon of immodesty and say, well, listen, ultimately higher up, in the hierarchy of BYU, they've allowed that.
It kind of goes back to the flag thing. We'll let people do what they want, and you do what you want, and let everybody kind of have their own thing. Now, I think that this has more to do with the people making the complaints than with the cheerleaders themselves. I mean, when we go to...
Like they just want something to complain
about?
They
want something to complain about. You go to a basketball game, tank top, that's not honor code. You go to a swimming event, a Speedo, definitely not honor code. But these athletes need those things so that they can perform. I think the issue here is that some people just aren't adult enough to go to a football game, look at a cheerleader and say that's what she competes in. They can't control their own selves, and so they feel like they need to complain about something they think they can control, which is the uniform, instead of thinking, I need to look inside the me and say what really is the issue here. So, cheerleaders, you do a great job at the games. You get us pumped up. Obviously, our school spirit's great, as Chris and Spencer talked about with the great season the football team's having this season. Just keep doing what you're doing, and we've got your back on this one. Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of BYU Banter. We hope you join us in 2 weeks when we come at you again with more things from the Readers Forum and the Day of the Universe.
And keep writing.
Watch the Cougars. They're good.